writing made clear. The truth is, the grant writing process isn't always clear, but with the right guidance, proven actionable strategies, and expert insights, the process becomes easier, simpler, and yes, clearer. I am Dr. Trinette, your host of Grant Writing Made Clear, and a former nonprofit president turned distinguished professor and behavioral scientist with 2 decades of grant writing experience. I remember what it was like to be a busy nonprofit leader with little time, but big financial sustainability concerns. Over the years, I have transformed my skills from securing $1,000 foundation grants to winning multi-million-dollar federal grants. I created this podcast in response to the grant writing coaching requests I've received from nonprofit leaders, entrepreneurs, and professors over the years. Join me each week as I reveal insider strategies and share key lessons that turn wishful thinking into winning applications. Pull up a seat and get ready to be inspired, empowered, and transformed. Whether you're a beginner or a pro looking to sharpen your skills and create a life you love, you're in the right place, my friend. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome to Grant Writing Made Clear. I am your host, Dr. Trinette, and today we're diving into something that holds many people back from starting on their grant writing journey, and that is fear. People are afraid of starting, some fear rejection, some may have imposter syndrome and fear not being good enough, and some fear the grants management process, fear making a mistake and having to deal with the consequences. Fear is a normal emotion, but I want you to know that fear doesn't have to be your story. And if it is your story now, it doesn't have to remain your story. Today, we're going to talk about fear. We're going to explore some strategies for identifying and getting past fear, pushing through fear, and even more importantly, we're going to discuss how to reconnect with your deeper purpose. Because when you know your why, as some people like to refer to purpose, fear starts to lose its power. It starts to lose its power. So we're going to be talking about fear today, but connecting it with our purpose. You know, as much as we want to think grant writing is only about grant writing, I have a surprise for you. It's not. Grant writing is as much about our thoughts and emotions as it is about writing and budgets. Theory suggests that thoughts, emotions, and behavior are interconnected and reciprocal. So your thoughts and emotions will impact your grant writing process, from whether you choose to sit on the sidelines and watch others win grants or whether you decide to give it a try. Our thoughts and emotions matter. They matter in this process. And I believe identifying our purpose will help us to manage our thoughts and emotions. So in this episode, we'll identify common fears that interfere with the grant writing process, learn strategies to overcome these fears, and discover how identifying and remembering your purpose can mitigate fear and boost your confidence and impact. Before we dive in, I have a special resource for you. Think like a winner, unlock your path to fundable ideas in one day. It's a step-by-step cheat sheet to help you craft fundable ideas that stand out. You can grab it in the show notes. It's your first step toward writing grants with confidence. Let's get started. Let's talk about the fear of starting. I always say, I feel like I've said this for the longest, that getting started is the hardest step in any process. I tell you, I talk about it all the time. At work, I talk about it. I talk about it with my family and friends. Getting started is the hardest process. I think that's the case for so many reasons, including that it can be difficult to change behavior and routines. And also getting started can feel overwhelming, which causes procrastination. But another reason why some people have challenges getting started is fear, right? So yes, it can be routines. Yes, it can be feeling overwhelmed and procrastinating because of that. But the other reason people don't often start is fear. And some people have imposter syndrome. It is quite normal. And because they have imposter syndrome, They don't believe they have what it takes to win a grant. I once worked with a nonprofit leader who avoided writing grants because she felt she wasn't capable. But when she finally started, her ideas flowed and she realized she knew more than she thought she knew. The hardest part for her was beginning. The hardest part for a lot of us is beginning. Another fear that I'm noticing is the fear of rejection. It's another reason why people don't jump into the ring. I have a high grant success rate. Even with my high grant writing success rate, I've experienced rejection along the way. Anyone you know who has had a lot of grant funding has experienced rejection at some point. It does not feel good, but in order to be in this business, we have to grow pretty thick skin. I want to encourage you to give grant writing a try and just know that rejection is part of the process. And I think if you can anticipate that rejection will happen at some point, it will reduce the sting of rejection, knowing that it is not the end of the road if your grant is rejected, knowing that every bit of rejection will only make you stronger. It'll only make you smarter, only make you wiser. So anticipate rejection as part of the process. And I think that will help you start to get over the fear of rejection. It happens to all of us, all of us. I can tell you personally, again, when I have experienced rejections, be it grant proposals or manuscripts that I write, it does sting, but I suck it up. I read the reviewers' comments and I use their feedback to improve my product so that it is better the next time. And so when I hear that my grant has not been funded, when I hear that a manuscript has not been funded, for me, it is my yes is delayed, but this decision of no is not final. It's all about your mindset. It's all about reframing how you think about life, right? So yes, I might get a rejection today. And again, I've had excellent success with grant writing. That's not my norm, but I have experienced rejections. And even though I may get a rejection, I see that as a stepping stone to my yes. Okay. So let's discuss some strategies for overcoming these grant writing fears so that we can move forward together. The first strategy is to shift your mindset. Again, we talked about this already. Theory suggests that our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are interconnected. To overcome our fears, it starts with shifting our mindsets. I encourage you to reframe rejection. Think about grant writing as a journey with multiple stops. You'll win some and you'll lose some. Don't think about it as a test that you have to ace to graduate. Think about it as a journey and anticipate that you will receive some no's. You will receive some no thank yous. And that's okay because it's going to take you to your yes. Think about it as progress, not perfection. Think about it as I'm going to learn and get better. Because every no brings me closer to my yes. And that's a growth mindset. That every grant application I submit, regardless of whether or not it is awarded, it will make me better. It will make my team better. And so, one suggestion I have as we think about reframing our mindset is for you to take 20 minutes and think about your idea. Whatever your idea is, take 20 minutes to think about your idea, whatever it is, the idea that you want to fund, and then take another 20 minutes and write. So, the first 20 minutes is to think, and maybe you take a walk outside and you think, I know I love to go for a drive and think. Maybe you want to go for a jog. But I want you to take 20 minutes. Again, a good walk would be ideal. A 20-minute walk would be ideal, right? Take a 20-minute walk or drive and think about what you want your next program to look like. Then I want you to come back and I want you to write down those ideas. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just needs to be done. Let it be a data dump. You'll refine it later. But just come back now and sit down and think about all the things you've thought about, and that will get you closer to starting. That'll help you push forward through that fear. I want to share an example. One of my mentees submitted a grant application to a funder, and the application was denied. It was rejected. She revised the grant application per the feedback. She submitted it again, and guess what? It was denied a second time. She was upset. She took some time off, let the grant application sit, but she persevered. She revised the grant application again. She submitted it a third time, and guess what? She received it. It became the largest grant she had ever received. So for her, the third time was the charm. And the lesson here for her and for all of us is to not give up. The lesson is to not give up. Do not give up, is what I want you to hear me saying. Do not give up. A second strategy that I want to talk about is building confidence. It's building your confidence as a way to act, as a way to move forward. My children are often afraid to try new things. They're afraid the first day of practice, they're on a basketball team right now. The first day of practice, they're nervous, they're shy. They are on the first day of camp, they're nervous, they're shy. They're afraid to try new things. I always remind them that practice makes better because it does. The more you do something, the better you get, especially if you have good coaching. If you have good coaching, you should get better. And in the beginning, my children are timid. But by the second practice, my children are excited, bold, and ready to dive in. They can't wait. But the first day, getting started for them is challenging. And so I want to encourage you to start small, but to start because you will get better. The more you do it, the more confident you'll be. Starting is the best way to become confident. Maybe start by writing one paragraph at a time. Maybe start by taking that walk I just asked you to take and come back and write for 20 minutes. But I want you to start. Starting will build confidence. Pushing through to start will build confidence. Practicing will build confidence. And so one tip that I want to offer is to find or create an accountability group or a writing group. Right? So if you can find someone who is also maybe applying for grant proposals, or maybe they're doing something similar where you all can hold a monthly accountability meeting or biweekly, whatever it is you need, but you meet and hold each other accountable. You can have co-working sessions where you meet in person or virtually via Zoom. If you can't co-work, you can at least meet and discuss your goals and check in on a regular basis. When I first started working as an assistant professor, I reached out to a few assistant professors and people who I knew would soon be on the market to become assistant professors. And I created an accountability group with a few of my colleagues. We met biweekly. At one point, we changed it to monthly because biweekly was a lot for us. But those accountability meetings helped us to set goals, and it helped us to remain consistent because we knew we would be accountable. So I want to encourage you to create an accountability group because when you have that accountability group and you set your goals, you're going to want to meet your goals by the next time you all meet. So that's a great way of making sure that you're making some progress and moving forward. And my final strategy really is to find a grant writing mentor or a coach. Another way to eliminate fear is by working with someone who is experienced in grant writing, someone who can help guide you through the process. So having a coach will help with the fears that are due to imposter syndrome, fear of mismanaging the grant, and the like. I highly encourage you to work with a grant writing coach. For me, starting out, the way that I learned how to write grants was by attending trainings, right? So by attending trainings and sitting and learning all day about grant writing. And then I had mentors who coached me. And so I want to encourage you to have a mentor or coach. I want to encourage you to attend grant writing trainings and classes. And I also want to talk about purpose and why purpose matters. Why it matters in particular as it relates to fear. When you've identified your purpose, the reason you were created, the reason you were designed, grant writing will become more than about funding. It becomes aligned with your very being. It can help you shift the focus off of yourself, off of your fear, to the reason you were created, which for many of us is to serve. So, knowing your purpose and being aligned with your purpose will help shift the focus off of yourself to, to the reason you were designed, to the reason you were created. So, I want you to engage in this reflection exercise when you have time. I'm giving you all some homework today. So, I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, what is my purpose? Why was I created? What difference do I want to make with this funding? Who needs what I am hoping to do with this grant? Who needs this funding? That's the big one for me. That's the big one for me is knowing someone somewhere is waiting on what you have to offer. They are waiting on your service. They are waiting on your program. They're waiting on your initiative. They need it. So I want you to sit down and think about, what is my purpose? Why was I created? Who needs what I'm hoping to do with this grant? Write your answers down and keep them nearby when you're writing. Maybe you'll have your answers on a whiteboard in your office. Maybe they'll be on sticky notes on your desk. Keep them nearby. I want you to keep them nearby because they are a good reminder of the reason you're here, and they will help to keep you grounded. So, my final homework activity for you today is to sit down or stand, take 60 seconds, and imagine writing a grant that helps you achieve your life purpose. Isn't that powerful? A grant can help you achieve your divine purpose. Wow. Wow. So I want you to sit, stand, walk, and think about, reflect on your purpose. Then I want you to think about how your purpose will align with your grants. And then I want you to begin setting some goals, maybe some milestones to help keep you on track. And finally, I want you to find a mentor or coach who can help guide you and build your confidence. Oh, and don't